Now, the second day that I was gone on vacation, we got some of the worst news we could have possibly got when it came to the injury. And that is that Levi Onwuzurike, you've obviously seen it by now, is out for the season per Dan Campbell. He had back surgery, and somebody asked, I think it was Dan Miller, if he could return for the playoffs, and Dan Campbell said no. So Levi Onwuzurike is out for the year and for the playoffs. He is on the final year of his contract. The Lions extended for a 1 year, $5.5 million this offseason. That was the worth up to amount. And this could be the last time we'll ever see him in a Lions uniform. Now, I expect the Lions to bring him back. They did it with Emmanuel Mosley. They did it with Marcus Davenport. They did it with, I'm sure, multiple other players that I'm just not thinking off the top of my head that had a season-ending injury and that the Lions brought him back. So I'm sure Levi Onwuzurike will be back, especially with the year he had last year. He'll be cheap next year, probably $2.5 million, somewhere around there is what he will cost next year. So I expect the Lions to bring him back. But this really sucks, man. Levi Onwuzurike by far had the best year of his career last year. Finally stayed healthy as well last year. Had 40-some pressures last year for a defensive tackle, which I believe was top 10 last year. He only did have 1.5 sacks, but he did get after the quarterback with pressures, quite a bit of quarterback hits as well for defensive tackle. And I was so stoked when we brought him back. He was arguably our biggest free agent last season, our biggest priority to bring back, and we did bring him back. And the Lions learned shortly after they brought him back about his injury. And luckily, it is not the back. It is a torn ACL that Levi Onwuzurike suffered. They found out he was dealing with an injury shortly after they brought him back, and unfortunately, it ended up being a torn ACL. So the Lions did get a roster spot by this, and they ended up signing 3 guys. They already had 2 roster spots open. They ended up signing another guy, DiCaprio Boodle, Tyson Russell, and Jabari Small. So one of those guys was for Levi being out for the year. But this is unfortunate, man. It really is. Now, the Lions, I said in one of my videos, as long as we don't have major injuries at the defensive tackle position, 1 or 2 injuries, we're looking very, very good. And I also said that because if we do get multiple injuries, Broderick Martin, that is the only way Broderick Martin has a chance to make the Lions 53-man roster or even practice squad. And that's still looking like the case because Broderick Martin is apparently having a horrible training camp. So, man, he is one of the biggest busts I've seen in a while when it comes to Brad. Well, he is the biggest bust Brad Holmes has ever drafted, but wow. But yeah, Levi Onwuzurike out for the season. The Lions' current defensive tackle room is DJ Reader is their defensive tackle 1. Obviously, McNeil will be that once he comes back. Brad Holmes did say that McNeil is on pace to return earlier than expected, most likely in October. So that is great news. But obviously, to start the season, Reader will be your 1, Tyleek will be your 2, Roy Lopez will be your 3, and then Mwingo will be your 4, with guys like Pat O'Connor being your 5. Miles Adams being your 6, Chris Smith, those type guys competing it out for one of the last spots or a spot on the practice squad. So, Levi Onwuzurike out for the season. This sucks, man. You've obviously all seen it by now. The Christian Wilkins did get released the other day by the Raiders in a shocking move. Maybe the Lions bringing him. I know they were interested in him in the 2023 offseason. Yes, 2023 offseason. They were interested in him. I do remember that. But it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. I doubt he will be brought in, probably too high of a price point. I just don't think they'll bring him in either. So the defensive tackle market is horrible right now. So I think they'll just stick with their own, but you never know. So Levi Onwuzurike out for the season. Wish the best for you, Levi. Hope you get a speedy recovery. And it's unfortunate, man. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. One Pride, go Lions. Hopefully Lopez or somebody like that, Pat O'Connor, can step up and fill in for Levi's shoes.